All right, Chef Gary Sakaitis is in the kitchen this morning. He is from the Inn and Garden Cafe this morning, and we're making a ribeye with caramelized red onions, cornbread, and a caper herb sauce. Sounds like we better get started. How you been?
I'm doing very well, doing very well. It's
Welcome
been a while
back.
since we've been here. Yeah, you know, holidays are all done with. But we have a nice cornbread going with the steak tonight, and I was going to ask you if you'd like to mix this together
I
so
would
we can
love
get it in the oven.
We're going to pop up the list of all the ingredients we're using today, Gary. If you want to run down that list, I'll get started on
All
what
right,
we're
I
doing here.
have 2 cups of cornmeal. I have a cup and a half of buttermilk. We have 1 egg and a 1/4 cup of oil. We'll
I
mix
know
that
she
all
already
together.
cracked the egg for me, thanks so
Oh
much.
yeah, I just want, didn't have to go through the mess. And in here I have a 1/4
Didn't
cup
want
of
any
butter.
shells in your cornbread either.
I have a 1/4 cup of butter that we have on, and we're going to just brown it, just so you get a nice nutty flavor, or nutty smell, I should say. Mix this up, we'll pour it in, throw it in the oven for 20 minutes, and our cornbread will be going.
Okay.
We have a beautiful ribeye steak today that we're going to coat in garlic oil, let it sit for a little bit. And if you're at home, it's best to let it sit for probably about an hour, just so it'll absorb all the flavors. Put some salt and pepper, and we're going to fry it up in a pan.
Like sit out before you cook it?
Yes, yes,
See,
for at least an
people
hour.
are afraid to do that, and we've been talking about this lately. People feel like, I can't let meat sit out, but you really...
Well, you do have, as far as a cold item goes, you have 1 to 2 hours where you can put it out before it has to be refrigerated again, before it's going to make anybody sick.
Okay.
Okay. And
1 to 2 hours, okay.
Okay, so it's a little bit different. But, and then once we get that, we're all mixed up there.
Yeah.
I'll take this and put it in the pan for you.
I'm just taking it right over.
And we'll be good.
All right.
But let that smoke up a little bit.
You mentioned this beautiful cut of meat. What makes it so beautiful? What are you looking for in a good...
Well, you're looking for a nice marbling, first of all. A ribeye tends to have a little bit of fat in it, which adds a lot of flavor. But you can use a New York, you can use a porterhouse. And when I say marbling, you have these little white lines, not thick lines, because those thick lines represent a vein or a tough muscle that when you get to it, you can't eat. But if you have nice marbling, it's just enough fat in the meat that makes it nice and juicy. Yes, nice and juicy.
Okay.
So, and that's what we'll be doing. We have some caramelized onions we'll be putting over the steak with our caper sauce.
And those onions are going to get nice and sweet, too, because
the red
ones
they're marinating in a brown sugar and a little bit of salt, and usually about 20 minutes, and you'll start to get a liquid from the bottom, because you don't want all that juice.
Okay.
We'll put it in the pan. It'll caramelize nice. We'll set it, keep it warm to the side.
Interesting, because you tend to think of a marinade as a liquid and not something that's going to draw it out.
Right. Well, it's the onions you want nice and sweet. So the sugar will do that, and it'll take some of the acidity that's in the onion, drop it to the bottom, so it won't be so tart when you make it.
Gotcha. Okay, and it looks like you got a nice cracked pepper.
Oh yeah, cracked pepper for our steaks.
Okay. How did I do with that?
You did very well, as a matter of fact.
All right.
So we're good to go.
Oh, it's going in that pan?
Yep. And we're going to put this right in the oven. Going to spread it out, put it right in the oven, and
so
we'll
it's
be
going to
good
have
go.
like a side that's got a little like of a crusty crunch to it.
Exactly, exactly.
Oh, that sounds good.
So we'll get that done. We'll get it put in the oven, and then we'll start our steaks.
All right, we'll do our steak when we come back next time. Right now we need to get a look at the forecast today. Meteorologist Jeremy Wheeler back here. Okay, we're back in the Hampton Roadshow kitchen. Chef Gary Sakaitis is here from the Inn and Garden Cafe in Onancock, Virginia this morning, up there on the Eastern Shore.
Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful time of year up there.
It is. All right, we're making a ribeye steak.
Ribeye steak?
Cornbread, you started it in the pan. It's in the oven now. And I see you've been working on our onions.
Well, we have some onions that we have with, we had strained with some brown sugar and some salt and some pepper just to let the juices flow out. And now we've heated it in a pan, and we're cooking it right now to caramelize them a little bit. And this will go on top of the steak.
Okay.
Over here, we have our gorgeous ribeyes.
That's been sitting out.
Right, and what you want to do is, you want to coat with some garlic, a little bit of oil, virgin olive oil I like to use, has a really nice flavor in it.
Okay.
And just rub it around on your steaks.
And what's that going to do? Because you got oil in the pan, so what?
Right, but what this is going to do is flavor the steak. Okay. And a little bit of salt.
So not the same thing on both sides?
No, I'm going to put salt, the last one when I put it in, I just didn't want it to stick to the other side.
Oh, right.
Okay, so now we're going to take
That makes
these,
a lot more sense the way you want to do it.
Put them in our, you're right, put them in our peppercorns.
That's going to make a nice little crust.
We'll lay it in our pan. Same thing with this.
Sizzle.
And now we're going to brown our steaks really nice on both sides. Now, I'm going to finish these off. If you have a cast iron skillet at home, this will fit right back in the oven. Okay. Otherwise, you can put it on a tray and cook them to the temperature that you might want.
So you're just searing them. You're not cooking them all the way through in the pan.
Basic, unless somebody really wanted them rare, in which case I would sear them, they'd be done.
Right.
And we'd be all set to go. But after that, like I said, we will put them in the oven. we're going to have you actually make a nice sauce over here. This is our caper herb sauce. If you take everything, I have a 1/4 cup of garlic, 3 tablespoons of capers, I have 1/8 of a cup of chives, we have some cornichons, olive oil. In here we have cilantro, flat leaf parsley.
Oh, it all goes in
yeah,
here?
just put it in there.
Okay.
Whatever you get in, you get in.
Okay, good, because whatever I don't get in is all over the counter. And what are these little pickles?
Cornichons, yes. They're a nice little delicacy. We have some capers.
So don't call them a gherkin.
We have some chives. We have some garlic.
You
We have
probably do
some
this
shallots.
Okay. What's the liquid?
1/4 cup of vinegar, 1/2 cup of olive oil, and a pinch of lemon. You're good. You're good. You got it.
Okay. All right.
Our top.
Oh, the top, the lid. Okay. Glad I saw that before I just tried to flip it over. Okay. I've never used one of these things before.
Line up the plastic.
Right.
Just press on it.
Oh, it's quiet.
Very quiet. And you're done. Come off. And we have our sauce.
All set.
Okay, this is going to be really nice when this is all through.
All right. Well, let's stop here, and then when we come back, we'll plate it all up with the sauce I just made.
Very good.
All right. So if I were ever laid off, Francine, I could be a chef, right?
Yeah.
All right, back in the Hampton Roadshow kitchen now, making that rib-eye steak with the caramelized red onions, with the caper herb sauce and the cornbread. And you've put me to work this morning.
Well, you know, I wanted you to do a few things here just to make it interesting for you. But, well, I'd really like to plate our dish. And we have the sauce you had made.
That's right.
Which are caper herb. And I like to just drizzle it across the bottom, give some kind of color.
Uh-huh.
And that'll look good.
Clearly, I left a couple chunks in there because it's got a little
that's okay.
stuck in
That's
the
quite all right.
nozzle,
Then we're going to take our cornbread.
It's my first time.
And you can arrange it any way you want. You know, presenting, you want to make it look good. And then we're going to take some more of our sauce just to make sure the cornbread gets nice and moist.
It's a good sauce. I would put it everywhere.
Well, you made it, so, you know, how can we beat it?
That's what I'm saying. But following your recipe, of course, which will be on the HamptonRoadshow.com later on today, the recipe for the sauce and the steak and everything that you have going on here. Now, what do you do? What's this?
I'm just going to use that for a little bit of decoration later.
All right.
All right. Now, we have our steaks. And like I said, we seared them in a pan. If you wanted them really rare, you could have taken them out of the pan then, and you'd be good. I put it in the oven.
So
and
where are they now? Are they medium?
Right now, they're medium rare.
Okay.
And people will ask, how do you know? And it's an old rule of thumb. Well, basically, but you start with your arm. And if you started in the fatty part of your arm and you squeeze, it's really soft.
Yes,
that would be rare. And if you just keep moving up, you got a medium rare, medium. When it's really solid, and if you were to push down, it'd be well done.
Okay.
You know, it's when you're young, you try that and you try it, but after you cook for a long time, you know what's going on.
You just use your spider senses. You don't need to touch your arm at all.
So we're going to take our steaks.
Okay. Put it right
on over our cornbread and sauce.
Good night. That looks like a big steak. Especially when you prop it up like that.
Take some of our caramelized onions over the steak.
So what's going on up there at the Inn and Garden Cafe?
You know, we've become very busy, especially on the Eastern Shore. We have our film night, which we hooked up with the Playhouse out there.
Yeah.
And whatever their theme is, we do a food and bring the people in to have their food to go with the movie.
Oh, cool.
Which has been, we've done 2 of them already. Big success. So it's
that's got to be kind of a challenge for you, depending on what the movie is.
Well, it is, and you know, Paul and Sandra will come back and go, "Have you done this?" Not really, but let's do it anyway.
Yeah,
so we do, and we've had a great turnout.
Yeah.
And this week we have starting our Bodacious Burger Night. We're gonna offer a beef burger, a fish burger, chicken, and a vegetarian with ultimate toppings. Come in, sit down, enjoy it. Get a beer or a glass of wine with it. So you really can't beat that. And we have our Attitude Adjustment, which we run every second Friday, and it's entree. They're actually appetizers, and you get 3 for $10, but it's a meal in itself. And this week is our Mexican, so we're doing tapas, burritos, things like that. So it's going to be quite nice.
All
quite
right.
Nice.
All right.
And then to finish off our steaks here, just drizzle with the chunks you left.
Sorry
but it's
about
okay.
that.
It's okay. We'll just go like this, a little bit over the top.
There you go.
A little bit over the top.
See,
you can take a few of these.
Voila. All right, we're all going to give this a try in just a couple
Now,
minutes.
but wait, one more thing. If you mentioned we're going to be running this on our menu this week.
Yes.
And if you mention you saw it and you come in for dinner, we'll give you a nice discount on your meals.
Oh, all right.
So you can enjoy it.
Tell them the Hampton Roadshow sent you. We say that all the time around here. All right, now it's time to meet our guest from Tidewater.